Look at that. Beauty. All right. I like it. Much better than a pile of clutter on the floor. All right, here we are, my K1. One of the biggest prints I've ever done. I can think of one other that was actually a two-piece. It was actually a charger chair for a robot some years back. But this is pretty big. It's funny, on my computer screen, you always... Oh, that should still be fine. On a computer screen, you get this funny thing when you do a CAD design. Everything looks like it's the same size as each other. And that's because your screen's always the same size. This is actually like really big. I don't know, this is like 300 millimeter wide. So I think I made it 295 millimeters wide. So about a foot in each direction. And I'm glad to see that it printed properly, evidently. I had to shim this piece of plastic here. So this corner was being goofy, and it still kept being goofy even after I did it. But I put this little shim here to raise that corner a little bit, but it still acted up. But it's funny because it's so flat, it's hard to get it off the magnet. I'm not going to be able to do this one-handed. Yeah, looks like maybe. Nice. Lots of glue on there. I wanted to make sure that the corners didn't lift. Ooh, I almost got some glue under the bed. Never get glue under the bed because you can't get it off. If you get glue between the magnet and the bed surface, you basically, and then you heat it up, you basically glue the thing and you can't get it apart. Ask me how I know. I did on my K1 on accident. Anyway, let's see how the top surface came out. So this one corner, yeah, see it acted up a little bit, but it'll be fine. Just a little bit, just lifted a little bit on that corner. That corner looks fine. That corner looks fine. And that corner also looks fine. For whatever reason, that corner kept lifting up. And all I can think of is that this corner of the print surface is less flat than the rest. I'll probably I'll have to run the leveling, or even just look at it on the network thing. But ultimately, this thing is pretty cool. This is if it's not obvious yet, this is a shelf to hold some exercise machine pulley handle. So these three are for Olympic size. I have two dumbbells that use Olympic size plates, clamps, and then I have a curl bar, similar Olympic size curl bar. So those will drop into these holes, and then these smaller holes are just for like the pulley machine handles. So like the 1 inch handle. These are for 2-inch things, and I made a few extra 1-inch more than I needed. I only needed the 3 2-inch, and I don't see me adding anything else that'll go in there. If I do, well, then I can change it. I also have these holes here, so I can have a brim around it, and that I'm going to print next, and I have pins that I already printed, and that'll snap together. So that way I can use the shelf without stuff falling off the shelf, because it'll have the brim around it. Then underneath, I have all these holes, not the diamond shape, the smaller holes. These holes are for pegs, so I can hang things from the pegs. And I made the pegs individual separate pieces for 2 reasons. One is to make them easier to print without supports, and for 2, I can pick and choose which ones I use. So because one of the things I might want to put on there is these clamps for the dumbbells, for the clamping collars, to hang them from the pegs. And so if I have too many pegs, they'd be too close together for it to work. So this will allow me to customize the peg spacing, and then there's more of these back here for additional pegs. So you figure it'll be against the wall like this. And I'll have a bunch of pegs, and I can hang like straps and things from the pegs, and the collars and things. And what else? I ended up printing, actually, so this PLA is pretty neat. It's like a sparkly yellow. Who makes that? Let me grab that just to show what it is. Also, I guess it would be interesting to see how much I have left. That's still a fair amount left. This is a Hatchbox sparkle yellow PLA. It's kind of a neat color, and it's been sitting around basically unused for quite a while, so I figured I would use it for this. Because I wanted it to be something interesting since it's going to be in my house for a long time. I've made a few different shelves similar to this over the years, and the first one was like clear Pet G, I think it was, and I kind of regretted the look. And then I made another one later that was white, and the white looks much better, but white's a little boring. I thought this would be cool, something different, and who knows, maybe I'll do some other things around the same room with this color. It's almost like gold, but it's sparkly. What else on this guy? So the pegs and the pins to join this, and a tool. I actually made it so there's a release tool to release the pegs. I can push in. So on the back side of each peg hole is this, and there's a tool that I can push in that'll squeeze the claws together to release the pegs if they're stuck in there too much. Turns out you can just pull them out. But anyway, I made a tool for that. And the pegs there. Oh, and these. This is to put screws in, sort of like the keyhole style hole where you would mount things by, which so you sort of drop it on. You put the screws in the wall, and you put it over the screws through the big hole, and you slide it down to the smaller portion that locks it on. But the problem with that is if you bump it from the bottom, you can knock it off. So I did it this shape, so it actually has to go. You put it in here, and you go down diagonally. Well, you lift it down, but you're lifting this up. So you put the holes first. And so you put the screws first, you push the screws through here, and then you lift the shelf diagonally, which causes this to slide up past the screw, and then drop it down. So this way, if you bump it from the bottom, it'll go up, but then it'll just drop back straight down again, and it won't fall off. I do that because I accidentally bumped the shelf off one time doing that, and so I came up with that shape. And so there's 5 holes, and I guess I wasn't paying very good attention to the diamond cutouts there when I did this, and so but this one still has the function, and this one still has the function, so that should allow them to these will all work just fine. They just won't be sort of put the brakes on, but this one will, and this one will, so that'll be fine. And the other thing I was going to say, and I also made a template, which is a rectangular strip with holes of the same spacing with tiny holes, just so I can put it up to the wall, mark a bunch of holes, put the screws on the marks, and that way I don't have to do any measuring because I just have a template. And I think that is about it for this guy. And this was actually live. If you want to see this printed, if you're not aware of it, this printed overnight, last night and today, live on my channel. It went in and out early on, but fixed. Oh, did I just knock? I bet I just knocked that. That's my camera on the stand. I probably just knocked that off and just right now and just didn't notice it, or maybe it fell off earlier. But I think I just did that with this filament, as I think what happened. So hopefully we got the whole thing. So earlier on I had a different phone as the camera, and then I switched to this one because it's a much newer, better phone, and that alleviated my disconnection problems, at least for most of the print, because I checked it today and it was still filming. So anyway, stay tuned, and we'll get this mounted on my wall, and we'll get the pieces into it, and we'll see how it works. And I also need to print the brim. I've printed the pegs and the pins and the tool and the template, but I didn't print the brim yet because it's too big. I can't print this and the brim at the same time. I guess I could have printed. Oh, did I? I could have printed the brim with the pegs. No, I didn't, but I didn't. So I just need to print the brim, but I can still put this up without the brim, and we'll see how that works. So anyway, stay tuned, and we will make that happen. All right, so here's the wall where I want to put my shelf. And so I already did this part. I took my template here, you can see, with 5 holes in it. And I put this down, I marked where I wanted it, which is actually lower than I wanted, but I need to make the bar needs to fit under the ceiling, the core bar. So I made this little line here approximately where I wanted to do it. And then I put the template here, and then I took my digital level here, put it up to the template, and tilted it till it got to 0.0 something, which was pretty easy. And then that was with the template on top of it. And then I just hit a nail with a hammer just to make a few little dimples here. So where are my dimples? Here's my line. So dimple 1, I can barely see them, but they're here. 1, 2. Is that one? That seems crooked. Is that right? 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. You know what they say? Measure twice and cut once. I am going to make sure that's level. It kind of looks not level for me, but we'll see. Okay, so that does look pretty level. So I taped it just under the dots just to see. And I put my level onto it. And that's, you know, let me get it right on the thing. That's about as level as you're going to get, right? That's like, I mean, 3/100ths of a degree. 1/100th of a degree. I'm just going to rest it on there. 13. So anyway, as you can see, it's very close. So now I have my screws. I'll put those in the 5 holes, and I'll put the shelf on it. All right, so I got the shelf mounted. I did notice one unfortunate thing that I didn't notice before is that this paneling, that's the, I don't know if you can see that, the seam of the paneling is right here, and it's pulling out. When I push down on the shelf, it bows out the paneling, so we'll see how much of a problem that will be. I may have to throw a screw or two into the paneling there. All right, so moment of truth though. First thing I want to put up is this guy, which I never use. It's for doing rows with, and actually maybe I should use it. For you put it on the end of a barbell and use it to do rows. So that guy, right like that, which was my intent. And then this guy, the big curling bar. So in one of these big holes here. It was originally going to go deeper, but it was going to use more than a spool of filament. I didn't want to change filament partway through, so I just did that. All right, that seems plenty strong enough for that. We'll see after I start adding more components here how it'll do. Then I have my my 2 dumbbells here, Olympic sized dumbbells, straight pulley bar. There's right in one of these holes. And basically it, other than like, so I get these collars here, and I can either put these on the shelf here. I still need, like I say, I still need to add the brim and add the pegs underneath to hang things from, because like I have this strap thing here and various other things, but definitely some of these collars, they can just rest on the shelf really for the most part. And let me grab a peg. So here are the pegs. Well, these are the pegs. You can see he's got a little, there we go. See, he's got those ribs in this shape so it can be flexible. And this is the test coupons for that, just to make sure that they fit properly, which they did. So now I can put these guys, and they angle up slightly so things won't fall off. I probably shouldn't put it on the end there. Super blurry cinematography. Not a professional. Don't have a camera guy. These just slide in here. This one doesn't want to slide in. There it goes. There it goes. We'll do one more here for now. So that one slid right in for some reason. All right, and then I have this. It's actually just a dog leash that I use for wrist stuff. Oh, that's why I should have made one more big hole in it for my wrist curl. I got a big wooden dowel for wrist curls, but so I can hang this guy off of there, like so. And like I say, this guy here, this strappy thing, I can hang from the peg here. And now I'm getting all these things off my floor, which is much better than having them on the floor. Actually, they were on an air conditioner. The air conditioner's on the floor. So once the air conditioner goes in the window, probably like next week, then, whoa, how did I do that? I'm gonna put my air conditioner up next. Uh-oh, I'm shut off. Once I do my air conditioner next week, that spot of the floor will not have exercise equipment all over it. All right. I'm pretty happy about that. A couple other minor things. I can hang these from more pins. But overall, I'm liking it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Anything I should have done differently, or any requests of a similar thing? Yeah, and of course you can. I'll put this up for download on Cults 3D. I'll try to do that before I publish the video. Put it in the link. Put it in the link in the description. But now I'm going to go and print the brim. That way, so these things over time don't slide off. You know, given vibrations or whatever. Put that brim on there, and it'll be good. So stay tuned, and we'll do the brim, and we'll look again. All right, here we have the accessories for my shelf. These I'm calling these stretch pegs, so they allow it to hang lower, so I can fit like larger things. I can hang larger things that need some upper clearance. And I see here that I don't have very good top layers. I only did 4 top layers, but I'm wondering if I need to adjust my settings a bit, because like this corner is a bit lifted. Only this corner though. Might be an issue. I think there might be an issue with this bed. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But the funny thing is, I just finished exporting files for a new version of this shelf, because I decided that it should be modular instead. So I redesigned it to have pockets where I can insert rectangular inserts that will be customizable to hold. So let's say I want to add a couple of dumbbell bars, right? I can change the inserts. And so basically there are 4 across and 3 this way. So it'll have 12 inserts, and you'll see. But so here's this for now. Let's pull these guys up. So I am a little disappointed that this corner keeps lifting. Let's see if how these come off. And these, I mean, this is going to be sort of in the shadows anyway, so like the top layer, not too concerned about it. But I don't like this corner that's lifted. It'll be fine. It's fine on the top. It'll be fine. I wish in retrospect, I should have spun it around, so because that's the rear corner and this is the front corner. I should have that rear corner here. And ironically, my next print, which I have the card in my hand, is the brim for the next version. And I think I also have that one this way, because I did not spin it around. So it'll probably come out the same way, but I actually don't care enough to change it. And it's more of a test piece, more of test pieces for the next one. And I can very easily redo the brim later. And that'll be fine. If it's bad, which it probably will be. I definitely like this. I think this, I don't know if it's Matter Hackers that made this spatula. 3D X Tech. I don't know. Whoever makes this spatula thing. I'm definitely a fan of it. Bought it years ago. It's like sharper at the tip, thicker at the back, tapered, and you can hold it flat. Works great. Highly recommended. Buy. All right, I need to put my. I guess I'll still use the same material. When I go to print the whole shelf, I will need to. I'll need to change to a new material, because I don't think there's enough. Plus, I want a 2-color anyway, but I don't think there's enough material left on this spool. On this, actually, I say that this new version, I think, will use a significantly less amount of plastic anyway. Let's go here. Print this guy. And I'm not going to calibrate. I'm going to say print. Let's get this stuff out of here. And I'm going to do one thing that I did before, if I have time, which is put a shim under the corner. And this is leftover shim. I'm just going to shim this corner a little bit because it keeps lifting. And I think maybe that helped a little bit. And I should probably shim it a little more. A couple more little pieces there, scrap pieces. Maybe will help me to shim it. It's not going to like this that I'm messing with it while it's trying to calibrate. Ah, now I did it. It does. It's funny. It's I keep interrupting it, trying to do its thing. I should really put those circles under. This is hard doing this one-handed. Printer is very unhappy with me right now because I keep messing with the load sensors. Let's show what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put these circles under here to get a little extra shim action. One more little circle. These came from the failed print of something. Ah, not what I was trying for. Almost there. I think if I do this, there we go. And I put this guy on top. Maybe that. Ah, I missed it. Missed the guides. Here, there's the guides. And all right. So now I have a shim under there. We'll see if that helps that corner. I'm going to put a little more glue on there also. Aha. Hopefully that helps. Maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe I won't. But anyway, so we have parts. I have more parts down here. These pegs. And these little pins. Little pins. Some of them are in here. Pin. Pin. Pins. Oops. Peg. And I'm sure anybody, Captain Safety would say, don't put your hands in a machine that's moving. But I programmed the CNC, and I know where it's going, and it can't bite me that fast. So, willing to risk it. Anyhow, stay tuned. All right, so here we are at my shelf. And I have these stretch pegs here that are made to go in the back. And so hopefully I can do things like this. Nice. See, I couldn't hang those on those pegs up there because it's too tall. So I have a bunch of those stretch pegs. And the new shelf design, it incorporates the same pegs, so it will also do that. Actually, I'm doing away with this row. I just have the back row because the shelf can be loaded up with the modules for that. And then I was thinking I can also make a module to add pegs underneath if I choose. I can make any inserts. And the other thing I have going on is the brim to install. Oops. The brim to install. And these little pins here will go in here. And I'm trying to live dangerously and not depopulate the shelf. These seem to be going in easily. And I don't need all of them. I did far more than I needed. And we'll do one over there. if you can see the shape of those. And they clip in. So hopefully my brim here, I can put it over the top of everything. Pull this guy out. There we go. And if I'm lucky, I can get this all to line up. Get these little pins on, lined up. I don't want to force it. I think I almost just forced it there. Ah, that seems to have gone in. If I line this one up too, yeah. That one and this one. This one too. Is that in? Seems to be. That snapped. That snapped. That snapped. And that snapped. It was quieter, but it snapped. All right. Yeah, the funny thing is I printed with print brim, and so I should peel that off because it makes it look like it doesn't line up, when in fact it does. Probably should have peeled that off previously. All right, so there we go. The brim looks pretty good. Other than I wish this gap didn't exist, but ironically, this corner. Wait, is that the case? No, I'm sorry. This gap is back here on the shelf, and it lifted there on the shelf, and it lifted here on this guy. So, oh well, not a big deal, especially from a little bit of a distance. I can get rid of this trash. But yeah, so this is basically it. Actually, I did want to hang that thing, which is why I have more of these stretch pegs. Let's do this. You can see the rest right up against the wall, flush, by design. Let's do that. And now I should be able to do... That's a little too far apart. That fits looser than I expected, but okay. And that is hanging. I have a little bit of interference here. Here we go. Look at that. Beauty. All right. I like it. Much better than a pile of clutter on the floor. And that's probably it for this video, until I show the next version. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy this, give the thumbs up. It helps a lot. And share with your friends and comment. If you have any questions or requests, feel free to comment and share with like-minded friends. And stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. Oh man, I ran out of filament before I could get to the end of these. But I just remembered that this printer does have filament run out sensor. Would you like to unrun out? Yes. So I'm going to put in a different color and hopefully it finishes properly. Alright, you can ignore these things. Those are just failed print for whatever reason, I don't remember. And I just threw them down there for the moment. But this was all to change the filament. You can't really retract it. If you run out of filament, you can't really retract it because because it's a direct drive, you can only retract it as far as from the drive to the nozzle, which is like an inch, whereas the tube on the filament inlet is like 8 inches long. So you can't use the extruder to back it out far enough. So no big deal, but I did have to extrude basically the entire filament tube worth of filament, so that's why I have this spaghetti. But you can see at the end it transitions to black, here. Can you see that? Goes from green to black. There we go. Green to black. So it has properly transitioned. And now let's see if this, I'm not even sure what to do from here. Maybe I go back to here. Maybe I go back to here. There's that. Continue, there we go. Continue. Nice. And so hopefully that, now the tricky part is it ran out right at the transition to the bottom stops. So hopefully I get enough adhesion. Whoa! Hopefully get enough adhesion. That's interesting. I thought it would have been bridging there, but it was filling. Well, like I said, I guess we'll have to see how this works out. But it looks like the filament runout sensor has done its job, because this was overnight. This was last night. This happened. It ran out, and now it's like noontime today, so it's been sitting here for many hours. And those bridges don't seem to be horrible, although they don't seem to be great. I think it'll likely finish. Now, how well adhered the bottom pieces will be enough to hold barbell stuff up, I'm not entirely confident. It looks pretty messy, but I think over a few layers it'll probably finish something and look decent at the final layer. But I am concerned that basically at these points that adhesion is probably going to be minimally sufficient, and worse, maximally insufficient. So anyway, we have the technology to fix that though. If worst case, I can weld those up a little bit with either the 3D pen and or the soldering iron. Forgive the excessive noise. I don't have my headset out here, I don't think. No. And so I'm just trying to yell over the fans. Now that is not impressive bridging, but we'll see. That actually looks okay. Not entirely straight, but we'll see how it goes. It's funny, so I'm streaming some of these live over the past few days for this series of prints for these shelves, and I got a comment that said, why does it look so slow? My K1 Max looks a lot faster, blah blah blah. And I said to him, well, maybe it's because of the first layer. But then I realized what was happening is because I'm broadcasting my live streams over Wi-Fi quite a distance, and the signal is weak. And so what it's doing is it looks like slow motion, but then it keeps jumping ahead. It goes slow, 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 jumps ahead, slow, jumps ahead, slow, jumps ahead. And what I realized is it's actually going a lot faster than it looks like on the screen, but the Wi-Fi can't keep up, and so then it jumps ahead to catch up. So it looks really slow, but you see it keeps jumping ahead. So the reality of it is this is how fast it prints. Now that looks slow, but it's because it's bridging, I believe. But then once it gets going, it really starts zipping around, as you'll see. Once it gets past the bridging part. And the bridging part, not super impressive there. But I didn't do it any favors. Like, this geometry is not ideal for this. And especially as the chamber temperature sucks. The lid is off, rightfully so, but I have the front door open just so I'm taking this video. Front door open. So if it gets past this bridging and then really starts zipping around. There you go. That's more like the speed I would expect out of the K1 Max or a K1 or any CoreXY for that matter. You can see this thing wobbling by design. It's on very flobbery feet, basically vibration isolators. Just allow it to wobble around. Allows ultimately the head can move slower in space, because if the frame is moving the opposite direction of the print head, then the print head doesn't have to accelerate as quickly. This is really what happens. And so that allows it, those vibration isolators or flobbery feet allow it to move quicker relative to the frame. And that's the key. Really impressive how these work. If you've been in 3D printing for a bunch of years, you'll likely remember how much slower the older printers were. And I mean, I was in for about $4+ grand for my Taz 6 with extras, and man, was that thing slow compared to this. I mean, it's different technology. Obviously, there wasn't a lot. There's been a lot of advancements since then, or even just a few advancements. The combination of CoreXY and clip and input shaping and pressure advance, as I understand it, really have allowed print head accelerations to greatly increase while given the same print quality, or similar print quality, I should say. As you can see there, that one's filling in pretty well. The funny thing is, this one, one of the legs of the V shape is filling in well, and the other one's horrible. But I imagine it'll come out with top layers looking decent. Although I only have 4 top layers, so even with the perfect print, the top layers aren't coming out awesome anyway. Just because these prints were taking up so much material. I wanted to save material, and plus all of the top surfaces, they're all printing upside down also, so the top surfaces are on the bottom. So the top surface is on the print, the bottom surface is on the part. So I really don't care too much about the print top surfaces, top layers. It's all about the bottom layers of the bed surface that are the cosmetic surfaces, A surfaces, basically, or at least the A surfaces relative to the top or bottom layers, to be more specific. Now we're cooking. I want to get past the bottom 4 layers, so then I can just start zipping around with some infill. I think I'm like 9% infill, so the infill is pretty minimal. So once we get past all this zigzagging, you should really start scooting along. Similar to that, but that's just the shells still zigzagging in between. Having the door open here probably changes the dynamics a little bit relative to the input shaping, but probably, within the noise, as they say, within the error bars, within the margins of error, within the insufficient. I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? Inconsequential. I mean, that one looks pretty good. A little bit of stringing on the edges, but not too surprising with a really rough bridge and then zigzagging for the fill. So yeah, don't let the speed on the live streams fool you. It's just an optical illusion due to the slow Wi-Fi. And maybe I can do something about that. I actually did add a repeater. Well, both of the lights on it are red. There's 4 lights, and maybe, I don't know. It doesn't seem to do a great job. It seems like it used to do a better job, and it's hit or miss. It comes and goes, the quality. I think also the camera gets heated up too. I'm using phone cameras generally, pretty much always, and over time they heat up, and then the performance degrades when they get hot. So that could also be part of it, and it could be similar for the Wi-Fi repeater. Now I'm just thinking about it. The Wi-Fi repeater is right by my forehead right now, so I may be developing a brain tumor as I speak. I'm gonna move to the side a little bit. Now that I realize that, literally my forehead was like right next to the Wi-Fi repeater. Look at it go. Cruising, that's the Creality K1 stuff. Yeah, now it's just doing infill way faster. Super impressive. Alright, I think you get the idea. Stay tuned, we'll see how the whole thing goes together. There you go. So as you can see, the top layers did come out very nice, as I predicted. Not exactly Nostradamus here. Just the nature of 3D printing. It's amazing some of the recoveries that it can do. I've seen major failures that end up excellent by the end. But or not the entire print excellent, but the final layer is excellent. Not sure how strong and secured these will be at the bottom, although each bar is secured at 3 places. So probably, I'm sure it'll be functional. So here we have these inserts, and so if it's not clear, these are, and they're upside down. So these are for the 2-inch Olympic size barbell bars, and nothing heavy, very light duty stuff. Kind of hollow-ish dumbbells. They're basically I think they were like Marcy brand that I got, I don't know, probably 20 years ago. I don't know. There's a curl bar and 2 loadable dumbbell bars. And the loadable dumbbells are like, I weighed them like 2.5 pounds each. And the curl bar was still really light. I think, I want to say it was like under 10 pounds. I don't remember. I think I wrote on the dumbbells in Sharpie. I probably wrote on the other one in Sharpie. But so overall, the weight of this thing is probably under 25 pounds, the weight that the whole shelf has to support. And while that's a little bit of a load, it's held by 5 screws and distributed across, and I think it's going to be fine. And actually, the one that I already have there, which is not modular, the version 1 of this, which is probably part of this video, if all goes according to plan, earlier part of the video, that supports everything just fine so far. And I made these modular ones so I realized, I was like, oh, I wanted to add one more thing, and I have a hole for it on the existing shelf, and so I decided to make the modular one. Now, in retrospect, after I started printing these, I realized that they might be a little bit annoying, and they might kind of pop out to the top, and maybe I wish I would have put some sort of a latching feature, and maybe I'll do a version 3 with that, but probably not, but maybe. And I probably will, because probably use these shelves for more than just weight equipment. I do have similar shelves various places in my house, and none of them are modular. They're all just flat on the top until the version 1 of this, and now there's version 2, which actually has pockets designed to retain specific items. And so I may eventually make another version which actually has a snap-in feature, and I can go more into that. But these fit really tight to each other, and you'll see that. If you didn't already see it earlier in the video, you'll see it later in the video or in a future video. So stay tuned and click the thumbs up and subscribe and share with your like-minded friends, and maybe hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one or later in this one. All right, here is version 1 of my shelf here, and I'm going to swap it out for version 2. And here's the deal. This is version 2. It's a modular version, so I can swap in and out various modules, and I can make any modules that I want, whereas that one, it's all fixed as to what goes where. And what happened, and I knew when I was designing this quick, I was saying to myself, okay, here's the equipment that I have, and so here's the holes that I need, and sort of debating with myself what to do, and so I hadn't considered making it modular yet. So ultimately, I liked the way it was, and then I realized I had this forearm training dowel with a screw on it, which basically I put a dog leash to there, and I can crank the thing like this to the forearm workout. And then I realized, I'm like, ooh, I don't have a pocket for that. Now I can just tuck it in behind, and that's fine, which I did, but that doesn't quite, any excuse to redesign and reprint, right? So I made the modular version, and I'm going to depopulate this in real time so you can get an idea. So here's the 1-inch style plus the padding. And interestingly, I made the new version. First, I made it a little tight, and so I had to redo them. And it's a really tight fit. But you get the idea here. Here's a couple of the pins that join the brim to the shelf. Put that up here. This guy. This guy. And these. This is the said dog leash for the forearm exercise. It's the strap for pulley work. Look at that, making my pile all over again. This is just the anchor point for your feet on various exercises. Pretty useless, but I have to put it somewhere and I don't want to throw it away, so it's good to have that. These are I call these stretch pegs. Allow me to hang stuff lower, like that. And I lost the stretch peg. Try not to get my beautiful face on camera. I'm holding out for the big call from the modeling agencies. Not really. Just as likely to get the call from the Bruins. Even though I played for the Red Wings this year. It's the local Red Wings. Alright. Enough of that. No. So it's funny, I made this feature so it can't just lift up and off. And I forgot. So I have to go up and then diagonal. And then off. There we go. And so, we have these pegs. I will be reusing at least some of these. I may reuse this shelf somewhere else. It's a perfectly fine shelf. I just wanted to make another version of it that was modular. So here I go. I'm going to cannibalize this guy. So as you can see, it sticks pretty well with these retaining pins here. You can see this retaining pin. Because I'm going to reuse I didn't reprint more retaining pins. I'm not sure why, because they're so small, it'd be easy to. One rogue one stuck in there, that's fine. Alright, so now we have the new version. Let's pull these out. Let's put the new brim. Get this peg out. They work pretty good. I should be able to pull it out. Man, there it goes. And I have more of them somewhere. I have are they stuck in the, well, I have this one. Should be able to pull it out. There it goes. And yeah, and these are stuck in here, so I'll pull these out and reuse these. Man, you really gotta get a grip on those. I have to change fingers. All right, that's enough of those. Really only need two of them, but that'd be pretty wimpy. So more like 4. I gave plenty more holes than that, but I think 4 is a good number, at least to start with. Let's let's put this up on here. Let's first, it'd be nice to make sure it actually fits this screw pattern. I think it's the same screw pattern, although I realized I did it a little bit goofy on the first one, and so I adjusted it slightly. All right, diagonally and then down. There we go. That was easy. And let's put some pegs in. I'm not really going to worry about the rearmost ones. I think those will take care of themselves. Put these guys in. And just a couple of the front ones. Maybe one more front one just to make it not bow out in the front in case it feels like it, which I don't think it will. So I did have to change the berm a little bit. I had to narrow it, and so therefore I had to make it taller because of the pinholes. I had to narrow the pinholes. Basically because the modules were a little wide. And hopefully these holes are easy to align. Well, if I align the front ones, then the rear and side ones should, in theory, jump out there. No escaping. Yeah, so these holes are actually rectangular instead of circular because there's such a narrow space available. All right, so here those snapping in. What a satisfying snap. That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, and I might as well throw these stretch pegs in while I have visibility. What do I do with those? Over here. And I think this had to be like here, and then like 3 apart. No, looks too wide. Let's go like that for this one, I think. So that was for this guy. Yep, there we go. And then this guy, I could throw. And this guy was like here. And that was for this guy. I may be getting a little ahead of myself here with those. But, and so now, is this not snapped on? It is. Oh, some kind of optical illusion. Oh, you know what it is? Is the height of this looks a lot lower. So evidently, I had some lift off the print bed on this corner. Because this corner of this brim is not as tall as the other 3 corners. But, it'll be fine. Why is that? This needs to push down more to be fully there. Well, why did I do that? Are these pushed down? Ah, I see. I didn't give quite enough clearance. I'm gonna have to modify that a little bit. Didn't give quite enough clearance for the head screw head there. That's weird. But I see the deal, and I will correct that. And we will call this good enough, and I will correct it when I put up for download. So now I can arrange these however I want. And so what I did before is I had the 1 inch on the back because this particular thing I'm least likely to use, and so let's go into the back. Right, so you can I can show you sort of a ridge on each one. Let me get a blank. So there's a ridge on each one. So it actually goes down in the hole, so it fits tightly, so it can't really twist. See that? Right? And so these all have a similar ridge. And I guess I'm not using any of, well, let me put a couple of these pegs into the regular pegs. They're probably good for something. And I intend to add some otherwise pegs also. like hanging from the modules, basically. So that's weird how that goes in further than expected. I'm a little confused by that. I'm a little confused by that, but we'll figure that out. I'm probably going to make some modules that have provision for pegs sticking out, so then I can have pegs up here like I did on the old one. And that's down the road. But let's do this. Let's see how this works out. I'm going to put all these ones down the back. Oh, and you know what? I did not clean these up. This is a good opportunity. So these are common deburr tools. This is a set of 4 of them, and they're made for different, for aluminum, for brass, for steel, for plastic. So I'm not sure exactly the difference on them. I imagine it's like the shape of the cut profile. I'm sure you can't see this. And so these can swivel. So it follows your motion. And it's an excellent tool. You just run it around. Stuff like this. It allows you to, can you see that? Takes the edge off. And so you get a little bit of elephant's foot on your 3D prints, and so that these holes are a little tighter at the top than the rest of the way. So because it's kind of a tight fit, especially because space was such a premium, and you can see that's a very typical machining sort of chips, the way they form. Watch how it makes like a spaghetti there. This is a very typical, if you look at machining work, very typical shape of removing material by machine cutting. And so this sort of simulates machining this sharp edge off manually. And actually I should show you how my bar probably doesn't fit in one unless I clean that up. It's all just because it's the first layer, because these print upside down. Let's do one that I didn't clean up and see if it'll fit in the, see if the dumbbell will fit in. And for sure it's very tight, as is. Look at that. Doesn't want, really got to force it on there. And that's all just because of that first layer. But if I clean it up with the deburr tool, space was at such a premium I had to put this gap here. And I really wanted to have a gap all 3 places, but then this was unsupported. This triangle was in the middle unsupported. So I had to make a choice, and I said, okay, I'll make this one full and these ones partial, and that will cover me for all the sizes. So now that I did that, it's still tight, but much easier. And so that'll be good. And that'll be good. Oh no, I'm doing the 1 inch in the back. 1 inch in the back, 1 inch in the back, 1 inch in the back. And nice throw, 1 inch in the back. So now you can see these all fit super tight, super tightly. And let's put this guy in first. I think hopefully this fits in there. Nice. Ooh. See, I was a little worried about that, and I was saying I may want to make a next version where these snap in. That might not even snap in enough, but that's going to be good enough anyway. And especially once I add this, I bet it levels it out anyway. Nope. But that's fine. It's leaning a little bit. I'm totally fine with that. And where are the rest of my blanks? And my Crocs are squeaking. It's a talent of Crocs. If you don't have Crocs, they're good for around the house. But they fart sometimes. I swear it wasn't me. I would be proud of it if it was. Maybe not on camera. This is, this is a serious channel after all. I can't reach that. I definitely need. Oh, I have. Interesting. I have 2 more of these. Huh. I didn't even realize I had 2 more of these. I think one of these won't fit probably. Oh. Well, anyway. Probably this one won't fit the 1 inch. Yeah, I can see these are smaller. Those actually won't fit a 1 inch, but that's fine because of where they are. Put the blank over here. This blank over here. So the reason I already showed it, I wanted to redo it. What really initiated redoing it in the first place was that I did not have a place for this dowel guy, and now I do. That is not impressive, but that's okay. It's gonna be perfect enough. We have a little bit of interference there. Could actually work out tonight. That's a little bit goofy. Well, this guy will go somewhere. Let's do that. Okay. And this guy we can put here. Ooh, that is... it's not ideal, but it works. I have mixed feelings about that. I'm going to have to think about a retention method for that. I have a few ideas already. And I figured something like this would occur. Various ways around this. What I can do is go like this, and then it's going to lean toward the wall, which is entirely acceptable. Or will it? It'll lean nowhere. There we go. I'll take that. Yeah. It's like one of those little slidey games when you're a kid. Alright. Whoa, where are you going? Alright. Put that there. How about this guy? Put that guy there. Man, we are in business. These are from a client of mine. Engage Grips allows you to put a... This is not a paid advertisement. And it's funny because I did say it's a client of mine, but the paid work is already done. Advertising was not part of it. But these allow you to basically turn a straight barbell into a curl bar with oversized grips. So it's sort of a diagonal through hole. And so they end up on the bar like so. So you can do like curl bar curls. And these guys, come on here. I'm missing a blank. I see one on the floor, but I thought I already had all of it, but no, anyway. Alright. I saw that coming. Alright, so now we have a full shelf. And put this guy here. So now I have lost my, well, no, I still have space for this down here. I was thinking I may want to put a little bit of a thing on the end of these pegs for retention, and I see that I do want to do that. But for now, I can just do this. That's going to fall off. Go. A little concerned about this way this is sticking out, but I mean ultimately it really can't go anywhere. But I'm going to revisit that. And I do need to make the peg hanging modules. I'll just do for now. Hang all these off these hooks, off these pegs. For this peg. Actually, these are just leftover parts that probably I should just put on my exercise unit that it's supposed to be. No big deal, I'll do that. And so there we go. It's a little bit not yet perfect, but we're going in the right direction. This is a little jumbly now. The other one was much more. Let's show that one. These were much more fixed pockets, and so it was everything was perfectly straight up. Whereas now, like this guy's sort of leaning forward. And so I'm going to have to think about that a little bit. I could always swap it back to this one for now, but I think it's fine as is. Oops, happened to be a guitar there. So, looking pretty good. Just need to work on a way to retain the inserts a little better. And I need to make inserts for the front, which have hooks hanging down, and that will be useful. But all in all, version 2, looking pretty good. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any ideas, feel free to share them with me. And make sure to share with like-minded friends. And if you enjoyed the video, if you went this far, obviously, you might want to hit the thumbs up. Definitely help the channel and help people to help more people to see the channel. It would be excellent. And so stay tuned for the next one, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for watching. You make it all possible. Thanks.